Lord Krishna is responding to his prayer. Krishna always responds. On hearing the statement of King Muchukunda, Lord Krishna replied as follows. My dear king, I'm very much pleased with your statement. Krishna appreciate. You have been the king of all the lands on this planet, but I'm surprised to find that your mind is now freed from all material contamination. You are now fit to execute devotional service. This is a wonderful lesson. Until we become free from the material contamination, you won't be able to render devotional service. Very nice instructions. I'm most pleased to see that although I offered you the opportunity of asking from me any kind of benedictions, you did not take advantage of asking for material benefit. Haribol. I can understand that your mind is now fixed in me and it is not disturbed by any material fault. As I was saying, the Guru and Krishna can understand the position by looking at our face of the index of our faces. Krishna continued, the material qualities are three, namely goodness, passion, and ignorance. When one is placed in the mixed material qualities of passion and ignorance, he is impelled by various kind of dirtiness and lusty desire to try to find comfort in this material world. When he is situated in the material quality of goodness, he tries to purify himself by performing various kind of penance and austerities. And when one reaches the platform of real Brahmana, he aspires to merge into the existence of the Lord. But, that's the big word, when one desires simply to render service unto the lotus feet of the Lord, that is transcendental to all these three qualities. The pure Krishna conscious person is therefore always free from all material qualities. My dear king, I offered to give you any kind of benediction just to test how much you have advanced in devotional service. Now I can see that you are on the platform of the pure devotees because your mind is not disturbed by any kind of greedy or lusty desire of this material world. All this opportunity comes, we become attracted. Then our mind won't be peaceful. We'll be always hankering for something. And it's the nature of material world that whatever we attain, one day we are going to lose. This whole creation is temporary. Nothing we will be able to hold. So when we lose, then we will lament. Particularly I lament because I was so greedy about money. When Krishna take away the money, then I feel, man, I should have used that money in Krishna's service. I repent my mistakes. The pure Krishna conscious person is therefore always free from all material qualities. My dear king, I offer to give you any kind of benediction just to taste how much you have advanced in devotional service. Now I can see that you are on the platform of the pure devotees because your mind is not disturbed by any kind of greedy or lusty desire of this material world. The yogis who are trying to elevate themselves by controlling the senses and who meditate upon me by practicing the breathing exercise or pranayama are not so thoroughly freed from material desire. So we should know that yogic process will not give us the result that we are seeking for. It has been seen in several cases that as soon as there is allurement, such yogis again come down to the material platform. Like Vishwamitra Muni was meditating under the water for more than 10,000 years. Just see it, how much they have controlled the breathing and exercise. At least they can live 10,000 years. But just seeing the Sakuntala, he fell down. So this is something that we should learn, that all of the processes has problems. But if we take complete shelter at the lotus feet of Krishna, like Haridas Thakur, wonderful, beautiful prostitute came and sitting in front of Haridas Thakur and asked for the union. But Haridas Thakur never fell down. In turn, he made the prostitute a great devotee. That's the difference between Bhakti Yoga and other yoga. The vivid example verifying this statement is Vishwamitra Muni. Oh, I didn't see the line. Vishwamitra Muni was a great yogi who practiced pranayama, a breathing exercise. But still, when he was visited by Menaka, not Sakuntala, a society woman of the heavenly planet, he lost all control and begot in her a daughter named Sakuntala. I'm not really, my brain doesn't grasp all these things. But the pure devotee Haridas Thakur was never disturbed, even when all such allurement were offered by the prostitute. I didn't read that sentence, but it is confirming what I spoke actually, so that is good. Krishna continued. My dear king, Lord Krishna continued, I therefore give you the special benedictions that you will always think of me. What a great boon Krishna is giving. Perfection of life. All these practices we are doing for one principle. Always remain Krishna, never forget Krishna. All these practices we are doing is just the subservient of that principle. But our Acharya says by chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, we will be able to remember Krishna. Otherwise, what is the hope? Thus, you will be able to traverse this material world freely without being contaminated by the qualities. When you purify your existence, like we see Prabhupada, all other acharyas, their disciples, they freely move around in material world, but they have no connections. They are transcendental to this material world. This statement of the Lord confirms that a person in true Krishna consciousness engage in the transcendental loving service of the Lord under the direction of the spiritual master, not on a whimsical way, is never subjected to the contamination of material qualities. So if you are still feel influenced by the allurement or the entanglement, we know for sure that we have not yet purified our existence. Krishna is so kind, he continued. As Muchukunda made a wonderful long prayers, Krishna is responding in the same way. not just short 1 or 2 sentences. He take time. My dear king, Lord says, because you are a Kshatriya, you have committed the offense of slaughtering animals, both in hunting and in political engagement. I think that will give answer to Arvind Prabhu, killing the animal. To become purified, just engage yourself in Bhakti Yoga practice and always keep your mind absorbed in me. Very soon, you will be freed from all reactions to such sordid activities. So there is assurance. You can become free from all these sinful activities even by chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. In this statement, it appears that although the Kshatriya are allowed to kill animals, in the hunting process, they are not freed from the contamination of other sinful reactions. Therefore, it does not matter whether one is a Kshatriya, Vaishya, or Brahmana. Everyone is recommended to take sannyas at the end of the life, to engage himself completely in the service of the Lord, and thus become freed from all sinful reactions of his past lives. And then Krishna is assuring King Muchukunda as follows. He said, in your next life, you will be taking your birth as a first-class Vaishnava. That's the boon, the best of Brahmanas. And in that life, your only business will be to engage yourself in my transcendental service. Haribol. The Vaishnavas is the first-class Brahmana because one who has not acquired the qualification of a bona fide Brahmana cannot come to the platform of Vaishnavas. And in India, these are great things is happening, like who has taken the birth in a Brahminical family. They feel they are the only qualified person, but that's not what Krishna says. You became Brahmana by your activity, not by birth. Vaishnava, when one comes to the platform of a Vaishnava, what does he do? He is completely engaged in welfare activity for all living beings, not just the human being, everyone, animal, plant, trees, whatever, whole creation. That's what he does. The highest welfare activity for living being is the preaching of Krishna consciousness. And it's stated herein that those who are specifically favored by the Lord can become absolutely Krishna conscious. And he engaged in the preaching work of the Vaishnava philosophy. So without getting the mercy of Krishna, there is no hope. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport of the 50th chapter of Krishna Deliverance of Muchukunda. I'm going to print this prayer of Muchukunda and we should read every day. 51, Krishna the Ranchod who leaves the battle. Haribol. That first time happened in Gujarat. When Muchukunda, the celebrated descendant of the Ishwaku dynasty, was favored by Lord Krishna. And what did he do when he got the blessing? He circumambulated Lord within the cave. He didn't wait. And then he came out. On coming out of the cave, Muchukunda saw that the statue of the human pieces had surprisingly been reduced to a pygmy size. Similarly, the trees had also far reduced in size. And Muchukunda could immediately understand that the current age was Kali Yuga. Satyuga, people used to, so no anxiety, so they used to be like a 28, 30 feet tall, all the human beings. During Treta Yuga, even Lord Ramchandra was about 21, 22 feet tall. Dwapar, maybe, I don't know. But we saw in our childhood pastime that people were really tall. Now we see that we are getting smaller and smaller. And as the age progresses, we lose the bone density. And even if we are 5 feet 2 inches tall in our youth, it will become like a 4 feet and 10 inches Haribol. This is Kali Yuga. Therefore, without diverting his attention, he began to travel north. Everybody has to go to Badrikashram. Eventually, he reached the mountain known as Gandhamadana. It appeared there were many trees on this mountain, such as sandalwood and other flower trees, the flavor of which made anyone joyful who reached them. He decided to remain in the Gandhamadana mountain region in order to execute austerity and penances for the rest of his life. Haribol. We never want to give up our household affairs. Haribol. It appears that this place is situated in the northernmost part of the Himalaya mountains, where the abode of Nar Narayan is situated. This place is still existing, and it is called Badrikashram. The lucky people will be going for the yatra with His Holiness Brahmapat Swami Maharaj and Chaitanya something, I forgot the name of other sannyasis. In Badrikashram, he engaged himself in the worship of Lord Krishna, forgetting all pain and pleasure and other dualities of this material world. So brother and sister know for sure from this sentence, problem will be there. Body will give the problem, family will give the problem, society will give the problem. Everything else, that's the nature of the material world. Never think that smooth time will come where you will be able to chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra nicely. We have to train our mind despite those so-called difficulty. We should practice to remain steadfast. Lord Krishna also returned to the vicinity of the city of Mathura and began to fight with the soldiers of the Kalyavan and kill them one after another. And after this, he collected all the booty from the dead bodies, and under his direction, it was loaded on the bullock cart by big men and brought back to Dwarka. Meanwhile, Jarasandha again attacked Mathura, this time with bigger divisions of soldiers, numbering 23 Akshuhinis. Lord Shri Krishna wanted to save Mathura from the 18th attack of the great military division of Kir Jarasandha. And in order to prevent further killing of soldiers and to attend to other important business, he gives so many chances, right? Then he said, I have other business to do. So Lord Krishna left the battlefield without fighting. Actually, he was not at all afraid, but he pretended to be an ordinary human being, frightened by the immense quantity of soldiers and resources of Jarasandha. Without any weapon, he left the battlefield. Although his lotus feet were as soft as the petals of the lotus flower. he proceeded for a very long distance on foot. So when Krishna lived, this time Jarasandha thought that Krishna and Balram were very much afraid of his military strength and were fleeing from the battlefield. That's the demon always think like that. He began to follow them with all his chariots, horses, and infantry. And he thought Krishna and Balram to be ordinary human beings. And he was trying to measure the activities of the Lord. Even Krishna appeared 5,000 years ago. That not that everyone was able to recognize Krishna as a supreme person. It's very difficult until you have the pure love of Krishna in your heart. You will be able to understand, otherwise very difficult. And that's why, the people think that they shoot the arrow, the hunter, and Krishna was killed. How gross that thought is, like, and the people get convinced. They write a big story. By hurting your foot, do you think that you will lose your life? Where did you see that? But still, we are so much illusion that we accept those things because we want to prove Krishna is a human being like us. That's our mentality. And Krishna fulfilled. That's why he left this world like that. To keep even the agnostic people happy. That yes, see, we were telling you, Krishna is not the Supreme Lord. He is an ordinary man. He keeps everyone happy. Whichever way he wants to be happy, Krishna fulfill. That's quality of Krishna. So Krishna, because he left the battlefield, is known as Ranchor, which means one who has left the battlefield. In India, especially in Gujarat, there are many temples of Krishna which are known as Temple of Ranchorji. Ordinarily, if a king leaves the battlefield without fighting, he is called a coward. But when Krishna enacted this pastime, leaving the battlefield without fighting, he is worshipped by the devotees. Very bold. A demon always tries to measure the opulence of Krishna, whereas the devotee never tries to measure his strength and opulence because we have no way. But they have understood that. But always devotees surrender unto him and worship him. By following the footsteps of pure devotees, we can know that Krishna, the Ranchorji, did not leave the battlefield because he was afraid. But you see the story, people will tell that he was frightened and he left the battlefield. But because he had some other purposes, and he knows what he wants to achieve. The purpose was, as it will be revealed, was to attend a confidential letter sent by Rukmini. So those devotees take preference in Krishna's life. He don't care if you want to call him a cowherd, but he wants to fulfill the desire of Rukmini. That's more important to him. So Krishna even wants to diminish his position to fulfill the desire of the devotees. See the greatness of Krishna. The purpose, as it will be revealed, was to attend a confidential letter sent by Rukmini, his further first wife. The act of Krishna's leaving the battlefield is a display of one of his 6 opulences. Krishna is the supreme powerful, supreme wealthy, supreme famous, supreme wise, supreme beautiful. Similarly, he is the supreme renouncer. And Srimad Bhagavatam clearly states that he left the battlefield in spite of having ample military strength. Even without his military, however, he alone would have been sufficient to defeat the enemy of Jarasandha, as he has done 17 times before. Therefore, his leaving the battlefield is an example of his supermost appellance of renunciation. What a great story that we left behind. Krishna is so wonderful. If we will know more and more about Krishna, we will become totally attracted and we will be able to give our life to Krishna. That's the result of knowing Krishna in reality. But because we are ignorant, so how can we get attracted to Krishna? But this literature, when we read this, then we will appreciate who Krishna is. So reading scripture is also important. Our bhakti chanting should go side by side. When we chant the holy name, we become attracted to Krishna. And when you are attracted to someone, you want to know more about that person. Who is really is that's telling my heart. So with those thoughts, we should stop here. We should be punctual in our service. I would like to appreciate all these devotees who take austerities every morning to kindly join and giving their support from Houston, from Fresno, Connecticut, New Hampshire, Aurora, Illinois, New York, New Jersey, Virginia, Boston, Boise, Atlanta, Phoenix, Tampa, Austin, College Station, San Jose, Portland, Dallas, Detroit, Chicago, Naperville, Philadelphia, Charlotte, Baltimore, Baton Rouge, Alaska, Orlando, Sanford, Jacksonville, Ohio, St. Louis, San Diego, Loganville, Georgia, Maine, Ottawa, New Orleans, Laguna Beach, Vancouver, Calcutta, and New Delhi. So the devotees who has to perform that other duties, they are welcome to leave. And the devotees who wants to hang around, we can chant for another extra hour. I have at least one more round to finish my 16 round. This is so wonderful. I feel like we should spend more and more time to give the full attentions to those syllables. They are not syllables, they are personalities, not different than Radha and Krishna. And who want to rush it to address them? You know, if you really love someone, would you speak? No, we will speak very pleasantly. Our talk will be so soothing. And we never want to leave their association if someone we really love. So, if we have the love in our heart for Krishna, you will be chanting more and more. That's what our Acharya's conclusion is. Hare Krishna.